afternoon. My name is Sheila Lamb, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 26 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one advising services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, Navigating Cybersecurity Compliance, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Say the date for our next cybersecurity webinar, Combating Social Engineering Attacks, on May 23rd. We are recording today's presentation, and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted and the chat feature is turned off. But if you have a question during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box and we will address them at the end of the session. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your own meeting controls. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today's session, Kiana Gainey. Kiana is a 20-plus year IT and cybersecurity industry veteran and has served as Chief Executive Officer for SecureTech 360, located in Springfield, Virginia, since its inception in 2010. She is also the Cyber Industry Specialist for the Virginia SBDC. Welcome, Kiana.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone to Navigating Cybersecurity Compliance. So we'll just jump right in. Next slide. So our agenda is pretty simple. We'll start with an introduction, and then we'll talk about some compliance frameworks that I think that every small business owner may at one point in their business journey would either have to comply to, or may have customers or stakeholders or even people that you do business with, that this may be some frameworks that you should be interested in as well. And then we'll end it with some questions, and then we have some contact information if you want more information or go in like a deeper dive. Next slide. So a little bit about myself. One thing I'm very excited about is just the role here to help other small business owners. I'm also a small business owner, so I understand some of the pain points, especially when it comes to dealing with compliance and dealing with cybersecurity. So hopefully today I can leave you with some tips and tricks to be able to take back to your own business and see how you can apply it as well. Next slide. So, as we all know, I call it the digital battlefield or landscape, a lot of small businesses are now facing a lot of cybersecurity threats. Navigating compliance can sometimes seem like, oh, this is just another thing that I have to do. When you have limited resources and maybe even expertise, it may not be something that you do. If you're not in cybersecurity, it may seem like how I feel about finances. When I'm talking with my CPA, like, oh my goodness, this is not really my wheelhouse, but I need to know enough to be dangerous, but also to have an understanding. So I hope that this webinar will provide you with some practical insights, some steps to help you manage your risk, and then we'll also talk about some of the common cybersecurity threats that you may even been facing right now. One right now that is very popular is mostly the phishing attacks. You'll see some malware infections, ransomware. Even small business owners are now even experiencing some data breaches, depending on what type of information you are either processing, storing, or even using. And then some of those impacts on your business operation can, lead to financial losses. Your reputation could be damaged. Sometimes there's legal consequences, right? Or just overall disruptions to your business and operations. So the importance of prioritizing cybersecurity to be able to combat these threats is very important for you to be able to safeguard sensitive data, to protect your customer trust, and also to maintain your business continuity. Next slide. So there are a lot of frameworks out there, but the three that I get the most questions about, or they're very popular, is HIPAA, PCI, DSS, and one of the newer ones is CMCC, which deals directly with folks that are doing government contracting. We're going to go over some maybe of the legal requirements and also give you some different information so you can help be able to avoid possible penalties, mitigate even some possible legal risks, and then also help you to achieve the necessary controls on maintaining the documentation that's needing to help with achieving compliance. Next slide. So we'll first start off with HIPAA. This is one that's usually very popular. HIPAA, also known as Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It applies to mostly healthcare organizations handling or protecting protected health information, which is PHI. Maybe over the last few years, you've seen this even when you go into your doctor's offices, they hand you a form and the form outlines their HIPAA responsibility to be able to handle the information that you are providing them. And it also talks about some of the safeguards, such as what access controls they have in place or how that information is going to be protected. And then also how they'll, if there is an issue with unauthorized disclosure, how they'll be able to either mitigate it or even reach out to you. Even for myself, as some clients or even on the other side of that, that maybe we use it as they're supporting maybe a healthcare organization and they have some HIPAA laws that they have to adhere to as well. So some things that, PHI can be things like name, dates, phone numbers, medical records. It also can be financial information. There are simple safeguards that you can put into place, like securing the storage of those physical records. If you're using different devices, make sure they have some form of encryption. Make sure that they have access controls in place, like maybe an access control list that limits who has access to the data. If there's, you can go as far as even if there's not a need to know, maybe you need access to certain portions of the data, but not all the data. And then one way that you can put in an administrative safeguard when dealing with HIPAA data is making sure that all your employees are trained and know how to handle incidents in the response if something does happen, right? So very similar to what you see maybe at the doctor's office when they hand you that form. You can also have something like that in place as a policy and procedure within your own organization that you can give to customers as well. Next slide. So another one that I talked about earlier was PCI DSS, which is also stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. So this is usually for all of my merchant, my online businesses that are processing, storing, or transmitting credit card data. It talks about how to securely handle the card holder data, the network security measures that you should have in place. And if you're using like certain terminals, if those terminals need to be tested, and making sure that you are compliant with all of those standards, because non-compliance can lead to fines, the loss of payment card, and even can result in some additional issues like we talked about earlier with losing your reputation or your customer trust if you lose some of their credit card data, right? So things that you can also put in place for that is making sure that your card holders' data is protected at all, in any part of the transaction, if you're processing it, if you're storing it, or you're transmitting it. Also, you can also put in place, again, some strong access control measures that we talked about earlier, even with HIPAA. So as you can see, most of the compliance frameworks all have a universal way of handling sensitive information. And so you can do something as simple as putting an access control in place to make sure that only who needs access to the information has access to the information. And then also you can compile and submit any like reports to any credit cards companies that requesting the information. Make sure that you read those privacy policies on how they will protect the consumers as well, so you have an understanding that how to protect it. So like some vendors you'll see, they'll say, oh, I won't use Discover because maybe Discover doesn't have all of the security practices in place to be able to protect the information, or there may be an incident that may have happened with a particular credit card company that maybe that won't have as many stringent rules or regulations as others. So just some food for thought. But non-compliance can lead to fines, and also it can also cause issue with your reputation with your customers, and you don't want either of those, right? Next slide. So another one, and this just over the last couple of years, this is for most of my Department of Defense contractors. It's called the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. This is more of a certification than a framework, but it's very popular, especially when we are in the DMV area. There are a lot of government contractors, and there's always been things in place for prime contract holders, but now it's even this new framework or certification also applies to subcontractors. So there's maturity levels ranging from basic cyber hygiene practices to more advanced. As you range in those maturity levels, it may require to do certain things like a self-assessment. I think it's for the basic one. And then anything other than that, you have to probably bring in a third-party assessor, which can also cost some additional, revenue, but that's something that you can plan. There are some organizations out there that will assist you with some of this as well. One great site is Project Spectrum. They have a wealth of information on their website on how to get started. There's many others. I think we have a few on our website that you can also, take a look at and see if it applies to your industry as well. It also requires organizations to have specific cybersecurity controls based on the level of the certification. So again, if your maturity level is like a basic versus if it's more advanced, they're going to all have different controls that you have to be knowledgeable about. The compliance is mandatory for now for all DoD contractors and subcontractors. There have been some implementation deadlines, so you have to be mindful of that as well. So examples of levels of the certifications, the level 1 is a basic cyber hygiene, level 2 is intermediate cyber hygiene, level 3 is good cyber hygiene, level 4 and 5 are more proactive, advanced, and more progressive cyber hygiene practices. And so some of the basic things that you may be doing already within your organization, but it has specific things that you need to make sure that you're aware of as well. You can do this by just simply doing a gap analysis against what your current cybersecurity policies are, and then put together a plan to address or to implement if there's some deficiencies found. And then if you need to schedule a third-party assessor to be able to help you with this, or even someone that is a specialist that's more knowledgeable in areas where you're not more knowledgeable, you can utilize a consultant to help you with this as well. Next slide. So again, we talked about some actionable steps that you can take for compliance implementation. One, I would say that you can do a compliance assessment. It's very similar to any type of cybersecurity assessment. It will make you, address any and evaluate current practices and procedures that you currently have in place with your organization, and then identify those gaps. Determine if these particular compliance frameworks apply to you, and then what regulations apply specific to your business needs or your customers that you're servicing, and then prioritize those tasks based on maybe cost, budget, or even time, right? And then make a report on how you can, or a schedule, not a report, a schedule of activities to be able to help you put some of the things in practice. Or you can create a roadmap with specific tasks and timelines, and then assign responsibilities for those resources for implementation. So maybe if you have someone on your staff that can help with some of this or not, maybe you can hire maybe a consultant to help you with it. Or even if you're just a party of one, putting together a plan and prioritizing what that plan would look like for you and your organization. Next slide. So in conclusion, the threats that's out there, they're ever so, they're growing every day. The only way that as a small business owner that you can be proactive versus reactive is investing in security now to help you prevent costly breaches in the future. And as you can see, no matter the size, sometimes if the breach affects so many users or so many industries, or even sometimes, the sensitivity of some of the data could mean, massive outages or massive impact on particular customers or stakeholders. If you can take a proactive approach in that, and by doing simple things, by putting together a plan, hiring a consultant in areas where maybe you need some assistance in. I'm also a big fan of using even things like cyber risk insurance. If you don't have cyber risk insurance, look at your current insurance policies and see if there are things that already are resident to maybe your business owner policy. But if there are additional, maybe it's an additional fee to have some type of cybersecurity insurance as well, I would highly recommend you look into that. If it's something that you can afford, I know as a small business owner, you don't want to incur any type of cost that you don't have to incur, but I'm just of a rule of thumb that anything that you can be proactive versus being reactive is going to save you more money down the road, right? Cybersecurity, dealing with compliance framework, navigating the compliance world is an ongoing process, but prioritizing it can help you safeguard your business and your customers. And so for any of the small business owners that's dealing with sensitive information, and we address some of that, like with HIPAA, my credit card merchants that are processing credit cards, that's mostly PCI DSS, and then any of my government contractors, either primes or subs now, have to deal with this CMCC requirement as well. Educating yourself about that, taking the time, investing in webinars like this, or even some of the links and resources that we'll provide at the end of the slide, or even on the email that go out with the slides, that will give you more information on how to put together this plan to be able to be proactive, will help you down the road. Any questions? And I went through a lot. And so, yeah, here's some links. If you can go back to that slide, here's some links and some great websites. SBA has just general information about just how to manage your business, how to strengthen your cybersecurity. CISA.gov is an entire agency that is dedicated to giving out resources. There are a lot of free cybersecurity services and tools on that website. It is a wealth of knowledge. I've found a lot of small business owners that went to the site and was able to put together even a basic cybersecurity plan for their business. There were some tools that they can use that some were free of charge, or they were very minimum if there was a price or cost associated with it. For my HIPAA folks, the HIPAAjournal.com is also a great resource that can help you navigate HIPAA and how to put together a plan in place that is relevant to your industry and to your customers. And then the PCI Security Standards organization is all about PCI and security and how to maintain payment security and different resources out there. And then the CMMCAB.org is also another great organization outside of the one I think I mentioned, which was Project Spectrum, that can give you a lot of information about navigating the CMCC process and what additional resources are things that are made available for small business owners trying to navigate this space. So you're not alone. There are great websites and resources out there. Our website also has a great wealth of information, previous webinars, some links as well that you can utilize to be able to put together a plan that can help you be more proactive and to deal with, how to navigate the compliance, what things you can put in place in real time for your business. And planning is the key. So you hear me keep drilling at home about planning, but also training is also another effective tool, training your staff on how to deal with these incidents in real time. And those are things that you can put into your plan to help you to be more proactive versus reactive. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting on my soapbox. Any questions?
We do have a couple questions that have fallen in.
Okay.
Now, this one might be more for a local advisor, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there for you.
Okay.
Do you have suggestions on where to look for grants for small businesses that could be applied to help offset the cybersecurity compliance cost?
So I haven't seen any grants as it relates to help offset cybersecurity compliance costs. I know that a lot of the local small business development centers have resources that can give you, places where you can look for grants to help with just your business overall. As it relates to cybersecurity compliance, a lot of the links and websites that I provided will help you kind of put together something for yourself. It's almost like a DIY, I always call it like a do-it-yourself project. but it will help you at least get some basic things down to be able to put into place. And then there may be areas where you won't have to spend as much money if you had to hire a consultant to maybe, always, like, even for myself, we can all probably do QuickBooks, right? You can probably start going around there and putting things in certain places, but maybe when it's tax time, you bring in a CPA to help. It's like the same type of concept to me when you're dealing with even like cybersecurity. There are things that you can use to help you. There are a lot of automated tools that can help you, but then there is just a certain knowledge base that maybe goes beyond what a tool can do for you, right? And so using wonderful resources like your local Virginia SBDC, I know I'm trying to say shameless plug again, but there are counselors and small business advisors that can help you kind of navigate what it will look like for your business, and if there are any relevant grants or other services out there. But I know Project Spectrum, I think I'll add that. I didn't put that in the links, but I'll add that to the email and I'll send it to you, Sheila. But
Great.
they have a wealth of information on there. A lot of it is free of charge, that industry-wide, it would probably be a couple of $100s an hour. So if you look at it from that complexity, if you can do a DIY project and save thousands of dollars, and you're still getting what you need, it's the value is there as well.
Yeah, this next question is kind of a two-part. So the attendee is asking or saying, I'm doing a virtual health business. How do you do encryption process for emails and questionnaires? They go on to say, I need to send out a basic less than 10 question questionnaire, but don't know how to do that.
Okay. So yes. So because you're doing a virtual health business and you want to send questionnaires to your customers, I'm assuming, and you want to know, are you trying to protect the questionnaire from being used by someone else, or are you trying to protect the information that's coming back from the questionnaire?
Protecting the responses.
Okay, so you want to protect their responses. So there's a couple things that you can do. You don't even have to use a fancy encryption for that, right? Every application, I don't know if you're using Office 365 or even Outlook or anything like that, or even Excel, or even a PDF, even if you put the questionnaire in a PDF, there are sections within each of the applications where you can put security in place within that application, and then you can probably send the code out to the population that you want to have that document on the other end. Like almost like if you've seen in practice, if you have like a Excel spreadsheet, you can lock that Excel spreadsheet down, right? Where someone who's tried to open up the file will have to put that code in. So I always recommend, even if you send it over email, maybe use another method to send the code. I would never send the same method with, I'm trying to send something protected. So it's no different than, how your bank, you have a username and password, you log into your bank, and then they send you a code and say, put this code inside of the device that you're using. It's the same concept. So I would start with using something as simple as putting your questions on maybe a Word document, PDF in that document, securing that document, and then sending it out to your users that's password protected, and then using another mechanism to give them the code so they can open up that questionnaire on the other end. I hope that's answering your question, but those are things that you can do that doesn't cost a whole lot. The whole premise of it is that you want to protect the data. Now, when you have all that information and you're taking all this information from your clients and it's sensitive information, you can also put it somewhere on a secure drive that you only have access to. I'm going to date myself. I still even use USB drives that are encrypted, and I will take the information from one device and put it in a encrypted USB drive and then store the encrypted USB drive in a storage facility. Why? Because I know even with everyone going into the cloud and everything is in the cloud, right? I still want to back up just in case I can get access to the cloud information. Let's say maybe the cloud application or something gets hacked. I still have my information safe and stored somewhere else that I have access to, or a certain amount of users have access to, under a key and lock or a user access code that only a few people have to that actual lockbox with the resident information. So I know I'm dating myself. I know a lot of younger folks are like, no, what's the USB drive and what's the safe with a combination? But those are simple things that you can do, right? To drive the point home. What did I just do with that? I protected my data. I had it have it backed up somewhere where only a few people have access to, right? It's not sitting online anywhere. So if something goes down or whatever, or if there's an emergency, I can take that drive with me, and me and the drive can go wherever I need, because in a case of an emergency, I can't carry maybe a laptop or a big device. I can carry that USB drive and I can place it on me, and I can use it somewhere when I get to my next destination. So those are just simple things that you can do that doesn't cost a lot, but it can also help you if something happened in the event of emergency. So that takes care of backup, that takes care of security, that takes up to access, all of those things all in one. And I didn't spend $1 billion to do it. So
Okay.
How do I protect the info they send back?
That's a follow-up. Yep.
Yeah. So there's two ways you can do it. If they can send, you can even use, in this case, you can use a service that has encryption on both ends. So like even trying to think of somewhere that's doesn't cost a lot. You can have them do almost reverse what I explained that you can do on the front end, and have them do the same thing, send it back to you, password protected with the code in reversed, right? Or you can use some type of already secure like VPN, or which is a virtual private network, which will go between you and that person. Or you can use some type of encrypted channel that you can use. Like even WhatsApp has encrypted messages that you can, make it to where the only person sees this is, the intended sender, and then you can be the intended receiver. So there's a lot of different technology that you can use. And you just have to pick the one that's best for you, but also read the privacy policies. Make sure you understand how the information is being protected, right? And if there's an incident, how they'll be able to recover that information, and then also put together some type of resident policy or procedure for yourself or your employees, that they know how to handle the information that's being sent back. So I always try to take the I don't want to say low cost, but either no cost or minimum cost, but you can put things in place so that you can secure the information that you're receiving, that your customers are sending back and forth to you as well. And you can also even encrypt your email. Within Outlook, they have encryption settings in there. You can encrypt the email that the sender can only send it back to you in that, in an encrypted, using that as a form of encryption mechanism to get back and forth. So you can do that as well. And you can do overkill. You can even protect the document, right? And then send it over an encrypted email, and then do the reverse coming back. So that gives you several levels of security without any additional cost.
I love that. I love all the options, and yeah, just making sure all the way. And yes, Kiana is amazing. That was the comment.
Thank you. So it's simple things. And I know sometimes, because it seems like I have to spend all this money, and I'm going to just be so transparent with you. Even some of my clients that spend I'm talking big budgets, government spending so much money on tools and servers and all these forms of encryption and all of these different things. And if your users are not trained properly, all of that money can go down the drain if certain things are just not in place. And it doesn't have to be that complicated, right? It could just be as simple as using a secure email, using things that you already have in practice. There are features within there. Use those first versus going to spend, and sometimes you do have to invest. So I'm not going to say the investment is not worth it. Depending on what your budget is and what you're protecting, yes, I believe that there are great tools and techniques out there, and I'm agnostic to any of them. But I'm saying, as a small business owner, I try to take the path of least resistance, one, and minimum costs for you as a small business owner, but there's some protection in place, right? And so, start somewhere, because I know sometimes you'll get overwhelmed and be like, oh, I looked and saw the price of putting encryption on all my laptops, and that was going to cost another $10,000 a year. If I was only making $40,000 a year, 10,000, the juice is not worth the squeeze. But if I just use something like maybe Outlook that had some encryption mechanism in place, I can use that and still get a certain level of security as well. So I'll get off my soapbox.
That's great. Any other questions? We need to pick Kiana's brain. Let's see, anything else? Oh, wait a minute. Here's to follow. Do I need a BAA with credit card companies as a healthcare business?
BAA. What does the BAA stand for?
Yeah, can you elaborate?
With a credit card company. BAA.
Business associate agreement.
So yes, so any type of agreement. If it's a business associate agreement, I've seen privacy agreements, I've seen user agreements. It never hurts to have rules of engagement on how information is going to be stored, transmitted, received, and even processed between you and whoever you're doing business with, right? It's the same premise of any type of business relationship or a partner that you're using. Like even some organizations use service levels agreements, some of the SLAs. The SLAs is there to protect both parties, right? It protects you on what services you know you're being provided, then also provides the one that's receiving the service on what happens in the event of X, Y, and Z. So yes, if you are in for
Making sure everyone else can see you. Kiana, you froze on my end, but I think hopefully for everyone else it was okay.
Okay. Am I back?
You're back for me, so hopefully no one else had the same issue. It's just me.
Okay. So yes. Oh no, you froze. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes. So yes, you definitely need some type of agreement in place. All types of different agreements based on your industry and based on the customers that you're serving. Make sure that that agreement states what the rules of engagement will be and how you'll be able to protect yourself and the one that you're doing business with.
Okay, any other questions out there? Still have about 25 minutes, so. Okay, do you, I'm not, call each credit card company to do some? Do you essentially call each credit card company to do so?
Yes, or really start with the one that you use the most. Some may not have something like that. If not, you can find out why. And then maybe it's something that you can see if there's something that you can create and put in place for your end, or not, just find a way to document, that you at least, made the attempt to try to put something in place.
Okay, anyone else? That's a lot of good information.
Yeah, so take the time. If you have any questions or something, it's like, oh, I wanted to, when I went back and I looked at the recording, or I went back and looked at some of the links, and I had some more information. Here is my email address. Here's the Virginia SBDC website. Another partner of ours is Posture. They also have some great templates on there that can help you put together some of the plans we talked about. And of course, if you enjoyed this webinar, we have several more that's coming up. There's a link to our webinars. Please sign up. We enjoyed you as an audience.
Yes.
And stay tuned. We also put out blogs, and there's some social media things. So if you can follow us on any of your social media, that would be wonderful. It will definitely be a value add, because outside of the wonderful webinar you received today, there are some great information on there just to overall to help your business. So
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you, Kiana. Thank you everyone for attending. As a reminder, you will receive an email that will have a link to the recording and to the slides. If you would like to sign up for upcoming webinars, as Kiana just pointed out, or you can access the recorded webinars, please visit virginiaspdc.org/training. And did we have one more question pop in?
And she was just saying thank you. You're very
Okay.
welcome.
Great, thanks, Kiana. This webinar and other SBDC resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors. You can sign up for a free and confidential session by emailing help@virginiaspdc.org or via our website. And we hope to see you all at our next session. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.